Now, personally, I don't know why, but they're starting to bring back mauve, and don't get me wrong, mauve can be used in some gorgeous spaces, but it is so hard to style with, I personally find, and it does make a place feel dated and dirty. Whereas more of like a dusty pink doesn't really create that effect as much. The color that I am referring to is Sherwin-Williams Red End Point. I don't know why I don't like it. Like, I feel like this is an updated version. It is a modernized version of some of the colors that we have seen in the past. But I don't see people being able to use it and being able to play with it as much as some of these other colors. And I do feel like it's going to date extremely quickly, so it's a no from me. Color number 2 to avoid is called Savannah Green by Benjamin Moore. Now, this color could be used in a plethora of spaces, but I do find this is a color that not everyone's going to like anyway, and can be hard to style with because of this greeny yellow nature. I personally don't like it at all, which will be the case for most of these to avoid ones. But it could definitely be used as a pop of color in a space. You could use it as like a cushion or something like that, but painting an entire space or even part of a space this color, I just don't see it moving along very far in 2023. So I would like to say that's a color to avoid. Now, Hames, I usually like their color palettes. I usually really love promoting Hames because they're an Australian brand and all that good stuff as well. And I'm from Australia, for those of you that do not know. But this color is called Silken. And don't get me wrong, I really love the color orange, but I just don't see this coming into fruition very much in very many homes and spaces. It might be something that we trend to see in more commercial spaces, but I don't see this color being used very frequently at all. I do think that if you do like those orangey sort of tones, more of those terracottas and more muted tones that some of the other brands have is probably going to be the way we're going to be seeing it. But this particular color, I don't see very many people using it unless you were extremely maximalistic and you liked that like postmodern style potentially, or if you were maybe doing a kindergarten with it. Like, I really just don't see that application in anywhere interior wise for a home. Now, going along the same sort of lines as Red End Point is Gentle Violet by Valspar. Again, it's this mauvey purpley sort of tone. I don't mind this color. I think I prefer this over the Red End Point. Unfortunately, with the thing with purple is that it is quite a rich color, and these mauvey tones don't always translate very well into a home. Although it can be styled with other items, I just don't see people really taking it on and having this be a trending color in 2023. Now, Dulux. I've got a bone to pick with you. Terrace White by Dulux. I love Dulux. I do. I think they've got some fabulous colors, but the thing with Dulux colors is that I do find they tend to be a bit more on the bluier, cooler side, and that is out now, so no thank you. And I was expecting with some of their color palette to have a little bit more warmer tones, and they do have that, and I will be discussing that shortly. But Terrace White, I just don't think it's going to be warm enough for some of the current trends that we're seeing. We are seeing a lot of warm neutrals and a lot of warmer whites, and I think Terrace White might be tittering on the edge there. I think it's still going to be too cool for most spaces, especially when people are trying to transition into those warmer tones and color palettes. So Dulux, I'm watching you. Has anyone here had like nootropics? Because I had this brand called Ariba just like an hour or so ago, and now I'm like ready to bounce off walls. So sorry, Dulux, like half of that was just pushed onto you there, but I swear I'm going to say some good stuff about you next. Now, for the colors to love, we do have another 5, and these colors are ones that I feel like we're going to see in our homes, ones that people are actually going to want to be using, and colors that I think are really on trend at the moment and is like almost a variation of some of the colors we've seen in 2022. Now, starting off, we've actually got Vining Ivy by PPG or Glidden. I thought it was a Dulux color, but now I'm just confused. I think it depends on where you are in the world as to whose color it is. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But anyway, Now, this color, I really like it because it is a little bit more saturated than some of the colors we've previously been seeing. A lot of the greens that we were seeing in 2022 are now migrating to these warm bluey greens. And Vining Ivy, I think, is a perfect example of that. Personally, I can see this Vining Ivy color as a feature wall. I can see it as kitchen cabinets. I think it's got a lot more versatility than some of the previous colors I was talking about. And I think it really sticks along with that green trend that we're going to be continuing to see. And I do think this is going to go along with a lot of the design styles that have been coming out, particularly designs like biophilic design. And you could definitely see this in a maximalist space that has a lot of plants. I think this particular color is going to be something that people are going to enjoy using, whether that be on the walls or on furniture or something small. I do feel like this almost jewelish tone is starting to definitely come through. Now, Dulux, I'm here to redeem you slightly. Now, this is actually a color that I don't actually like, but I do see it being quite popular as of next year, and that's called Wild Wonders by Dulux. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the yellow greens when they tilter a little bit too far on the yellow side, but I do see this color being really, really trendy, particularly with some of our newer trends coming through. I could see it potentially going with biophilic design, modern organic, and some of those more warm and neutral styles that we have been seeing coming onto trend. I do think this color could be seen as a feature wall or throughout an entire like bedroom space and really create that more calming and chill sort of effect. That is definitely where Dulux is heading with this. So thank you, Dulux. Yes, I do like this color. So good work for that. So next up is actually my favorite color, which is not just because of the name. I swear. I think I just spat everywhere, but anyway. But it's called BAMBoozle and it's by Farrow & Ball. And I love this color because I have already been seeing that some of the trending elements coming through of the terracottas and the reds are now starting to come in. And it initially started with our soft terracottas with these beautiful sagey greens, and now that we're starting to add more pigment, we're starting to edge into some reds. I do see red starting to become a bigger trend in 2023. Whether or not we actually use it or not in our own homes, I'm not too sure, but I do see almost that like maroony red tone really coming through, and I feel like BAMBoozle is like the fun version of that. There are a couple of other brands that did some reds as well that I actually quite liked, but this one was personally my favorite, and I think it's going to be a really cool color to use. I'm actually thinking about potentially painting one of the walls in this room red, but I have not decided yet because I think it would look really nice with my walnut timbers. But to be decided. Let me know in the comments below whether or not I should do BAMBoozle as my feature wall. I think that'd be cool as, honestly. But yeah, I do see red being a potentially strong color in the next coming year. I know we don't all love colors, so I thought I'd have at least one honorable mention for the whites. And this particular white I do see as being a little bit on the warmer side in comparison to the Dulux one, and that is called Blank Canvas by Bear. And I see this as almost like a more of a neutral warm white. Like, it doesn't seem to be super duper creamy, but it does seem like it will be able to play with a whole bunch of other colors and will be a great base if you aren't someone that likes to paint your walls. With a lot of the design trends we've been seeing recently, I do feel like we should have a couple of neutrals on this, but I'm too excited by the colors. But with a lot of the design trends we're seeing, we do have a lot of those trends have like a white base on the walls. So I do see this color being a potential winner for a lot of people, particularly if you are looking for a new color. I think this one isn't too warm and not too cool. I think it's pretty balanced, and I don't see it clashing with many other colors, which can be a bit of an issue when you are going ahead and adding color in. Do you guys like my overalls? I know I probably look like a 10-year-old child, but like, I'm rocking it. I love it. Now, lucky last for the color that I love and I do think we are going to be seeing in 2023 is by Krylon, and it's called Spanish Moss. I see this color going on pieces of furniture or even as feature walls for any room where you're wanting to add that touch of green. I really like this color because I think it is a pretty well balanced green, but I do think there are some other greens out there that probably do this a little bit better. But I think this is a great starting place to start off with. And then if you need to find a color that's slightly different, no problem. But I think this is a really lovely green, and as I said, green is still trending, green is still in. I'm still wanting to paint a whole bunch of things green aside from my bedroom. I swear I will show you guys eventually when it's done. I will show you, I swear. I didn't go with that kind of green though. I kind of went, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably looks more like Wild Wonders. This color, love it. I think it really goes along with a lot of those other like muted jewel tones that we've really been seeing come back to life. I definitely think it's going to be one of those feature colors that we are going to still see in our stores and in probably our online social spaces as well. I hope this non-definitive list has been helpful for you and has really opened your eyes up to what we might be seeing in 2023 and which colors you may potentially want to use in your own home. If there are any colors there, make sure you do let me know down below where you're thinking of using them. I would love to hear about them. And if you do end up using any of these colors, make sure you go ahead and follow me on Instagram and send me a DM so I can actually see what that looks like. I would love to see it. I think it'll be fantastic. And with my audience now growing, it's actually grown, it's tripled in size in the last 2 weeks. So I'm like gobsmacked. Thank you so much for that. I can't believe how much things have changed already. So thank you to you guys. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to the algorithm. Thank you. I only took a year and a bit. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you next video. Bye.